I say we gotta close it up.
Yeah.
Chris being here, I know he's behind the camera, but like we've been having such a great conversation with your best friend.
I feel like we know you already, man.
Like,
They're kind of like me and you, bro.
Don't believe a word he said.
Yeah, we're talking about how old y'all were when y'all met. We kind of met at the same age, around the same time. So we're talking about like how now I'm starting to know. Like, if he's telling me he's 5 minutes away, I already know how far he is.
What am I saying? I'm right up the street.
I'm like, you're still in the shower. Shut up, bro. Like, hurry up.
An hour later, it's like, I thought you were right up the street. I am.
No fucking way, bro.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
And what did hold on, before we go any further, what did I tell you whenever I first met you? Your energy is different. It's special and it's positive.
That.
And go back and watch the podcast and you'll see what I mean.
I will. I got to get, Reppin' for my city, Dallas, this gon' be that Lucas show. Now I'm blowing up like the whole squad to let bazookas go. In this world, it ain't about what you know, it's about who you know. Flying out to handle business, catch me out in Maryland. If you ever picked me up when I was down, you bro for life.
People go out a lot less because of the social media. Everything's on their phone. Everything they gotta watch.
Yeah,
on their phone.
you really don't have to like go anywhere. It's like shopping. You could just order what you want to order. You don't have to go to the mall, or you don't have to really do something and it comes to your doorstep. That's why things of like NFTs exist now.
Yeah.
NFTs, and you become a member of whoever's platform. It's kind of, you can utilize the OnlyFans.
Yeah, the OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, you don't have to go to strip club no more.
Yeah.
You just watch the girl through your phone and that's it. And you can actually tip the girl on the phone.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever experienced that, but I know a lot of girls that make a lot of money.
Right.
For that stuff.
And you bring up a good point. I hear guys that don't respect the females that do OnlyFans.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, so then you don't respect the NFL player that has an amazing, healthy, strong body that's making a living off of his body too.
Yeah.
So,
no, I applaud any female that's out there. I know there's a reason, whether that's to give their kids a life or it's to better themselves.
Right.
And the thing about it is that there's people out there that are doing it.
Yeah.
And even before OnlyFans, I knew a lot of, in the industry of what we do, you meet a lot of women.
Yeah.
As a singer, man.
As a singer, you meet a lot of women.
Man, you got the style. You can.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're having an affair with the girl.
Mm.
And I think that that's the problem a lot of times with females and males.
Right.
Is that they have problems like, why are you friends with the male, or why are you friends with the female?
Yeah.
So you can have a friendship. It's just that the way the world has built it up to be, or what you see on TV, or you see
right.
You guys are from Dallas, cheaters. You know what I mean? You see that kind of stuff, right?
You bring up a great point though, because I grew up with a group of friends that are mainly girls.
Yeah.
Never have I dated any one of them.
No. I mean, I've had more friends that are females.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends that are males.
Right.
But the thing about it too is that, you have a lot of in common, and sometimes they just need an ear to listen to,
right.
Get some advice. And I'll say this, and I have no shame saying it. I met a lot of strippers and never had relationships with them. But I saw what the hustle was.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was more like, I'm putting myself through college.
Exactly.
Or I'm putting myself to get this or to do that. You have to pretend in order to make something happen, for somebody else, which is called the fantasy, So OnlyFans, if you look at it like foot fetishes, is a huge thing from what I hear.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think what you're talking about, where like you met a lot of strippers where you had nothing, you had no relationships with them other than just a friendship.
Correct.
I think it kind of reminded me of at least we used to live with strippers too.
Not many people know this. We used to live with a stripper.
And fans are barely starting. I guess the first time they're gonna hear this, but we used to live with strippers, and I think living with them, it was a kind of an eye opener, because obviously we used to seeing strippers as just an object, instead of knowing the story behind them and living with them, like the struggles they go through and why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like,
if I was a female, I probably would strip too.
I know, right? It's like so much good money in the business.
I mean, look, and I'm sure things are a lot different the way they used to be back in the day. You know, the economy is a big factor, the inflation, you know, things of that nature. So you really have to have, no one really thinks of the rainy day.
Yeah.
You know, I was speaking to a friend of mine who had a job for 25 years and they recently lost their job because of that. And that person luckily had savings, but in my industry, I always knew a lot of people, colleagues, that when they would hit their 15 year, they already started looking for another job because they already knew that in due time, no one was going to pay that salary. So it's a lesson that everybody needs to learn and understand that it's nothing personal.
Right.
Those are just the facts of living, man. You know.
I connected a lot whenever you said that you have a lot of friends that are girls.
Yeah.
I respect all my friends that are girls. Grew up with them, known them for decades. And I was going through your Instagram, and let's just break the ice. ¿Tú sabías a Selena?
Yeah.
The star that we all know, that we admire.
Yeah.
Tell me the best thing that you loved about her as a friend.
Man, that she and I've met a lot of stars, you know, movie stars, entertainers, you know, things. And to me, and Chris says that I'm spoiled because I met someone that, you know, for Latino culture, and I hope nobody thinks wrong, but as a Latina, we never had someone that was a full-figured kind of women like you see today.
Right. Yeah.
Your Kim Kardashians, you know, the list goes on and on because that's what the eye of what people look at now these days. Back in that time, no one thought of that. No one looked at it like that.
Dude, I've never thought about it like that.
No one saw it like that.
Era like Kim Kardashian del mundo.
So you see Kim Kardashian, how she utilized it. Selena didn't have to utilize it.
Yeah.
She didn't.
She did it with talent.
The girl had natural talent. She was an amazing friend, like just like humble, loving. She loved to dance. And the crazy thing about it is that when I would dance with her, because Chris was not a dancer, you know, I would dance with her.
Right.
And I would tell myself, man, she's going to make me look good. You know?
Right.
But
the best wingman.
Like, who's that guy dancing with Selena?
Like who's that guy dancing with that? You know,
and I can see Selena helping you get a girl.
No, well, I mean, the thing about it is that like she was just a bunch of joy, man, like happy, you know, she loved animals. And the thing about it is that, you know, she married my best friend.
Right.
You know, a lot of people don't know that Chris and I go back before Selena.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
And what our friendship started was over music, you know, 80s rock.
Orale.
You know, we didn't Motley Crue. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Tejano. We never thought that was going to be that, you know, because in the industry, it was a male dominant industry. And when you saw Selena, you know, you're like, man, who's this girl? And again, you didn't look at it like, oh, she's hot. You just looked at it like, who's this girl?
The
like
talent.
She loves to dance. She's got these different outfits that no one else has.
Yeah.
You know, I remember one time we performed in Houston, Texas at a outdoor festival and her luggage got lost. And she took a shirt from the merchandise booth
and killed it.
Rolled it up, put it in, and like, let's roll.
Let's roll, yeah.
You know, now these days you got divas. Oh no, I'm not gonna go out there if these lights are not on.
That's
or
crazy.
If I don't have this or I don't have that, you know.
No, you bring up a great point. The talent was there. The hustle, it was there.
Oh,
man. And the humbleness, like, I don't care. It's just a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, she was one of a kind.
Yeah.
I've yet to see anyone that can remotely be close to her. Which I would say that goes for a lot of artists that are out there. I mean, you can be duplicated but never imitated. No, what is it? Imitated but never duplicated. Yeah, I'm sorry. But that's the thing of there, and I had the honor to be on tour with them and got to see how it was really done. You know, how it was really done and see what a person, what talent was. And I say this with all due respect to a lot of female artists, because I feel now people do it for a certain reason and not
for the love of the music.
For the love, you know what I mean? I feel like they do it for success. They do it for financial reasons.
And there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that. But like, I could honestly sit here and say right now that she would have given that up for anything, to be a family,
to have a family
and anything else. Yeah.
Do you think in the long run, for people that love, the people that do it for the money, it's and the people that do it for the music, the actual love of the music, do you think the longevity it always impacts it depending on what they do it for?
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, you set yourself up for disappointment. You know what I mean? I think if you feel like, well,
kind of like entitled.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of text messages of people that will get my number and, hey, I want to be a singer and I want to do this and I feel like I can be the best part of this and I can be the best part of that. I heard a quote the other day from an artist who said, be creative, don't be created. And when he said that,
damn,
it allowed me to think to myself, I know that I'm going on the right road.
Same.
Because I had a name, but I changed it to Carlito. I didn't want to be Carlos Miranda Jr. Because I didn't want people to say, oh, pues he's only there because of his dad or whatever.
Yeah,
so
nepotism.
Carlito, so Carlito was just something like, well, who's Carlito?
Man, and you bring up a great point. Me, recently I just had a son. He's 7 months old. Thank you. Right. And that entire time, I knew I wasn't going to name my kid Alan Jr. Yeah. And no offense to the juniors out there, that's a
great one right now.
I know, right? That's that's something that your father really wanted.
Yeah.
But I don't see myself putting my son in a situation where like he needs to either fight the identity or create a new identity. Let him be himself. So I have to respect that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've learned a lot. I've been blessed that I've had people take me under their wing, like Chris. Right. Chris is my brother. We're best friends. We've worked together. I never would have thought that I would have the honor to have that guy on the left of me on the stage performing. And I only say that is because I know that they see Chris as, well, Selena, right?
Yeah.
But no, the dude's talented.
Yeah.
No, hands down. Like,
hands down, yeah.
That's the reason why I was even, we became friends, because I'm like, this guy's a great guitarist. I saw him create. He was already writing songs before he joined Selena.
Yeah, that's
crazy. He was already programming music on keyboards. You know what I mean? The dude's just an amazing artist.
How old were y'all when y'all met?
We're teenagers. I think he was 21. I was 19, somewhere around there.
That's crazy.
It's kind of the same age we met.
Yeah.
Same age we met.
Yeah.
You want to know something that's even stronger to the case of, we as men need to support each other as friends, but as brothers.
For sure.
And you know what? That's the one part that we're forgetting as men. Men have emotions. Men struggle.
Yeah.
And men have to go through times that, no one else will go ahead and pick them up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say this, but me and Caesar, we've gone through, death together, multiple deaths. And
well, that's funny that you mentioned that, is that I lost both of my parents, and Chris was there for me. You know what I mean? Who was a very understanding person. The dude is just a flawless, very he's unselfish. He's just this guy he's got a huge heart,
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from him. I've learned a lot from him. And
could you say that Chris pushes you to be a better individual?
Man, yeah, no, he is. We're the yin and the yang,
right?
We're the yin and the yang. We've both have experienced loss. We experienced so many different things in life. I felt like we were like in a frat. You know what I mean? Him and I.
A Mexican frat.
Yeah, it was a Mexican frat because, we know what it was like to not have money.
Damn.
We knew what the struggle was. And, God puts people in your life for certain reasons. You'll never know the answer until as time goes on. You know what I mean? And the older we get, the wiser we become and understanding one another. And, what can I say? I can't help, and I say this a lot, I can't help it that my brother happened to be the husband of
Selena,
of Selena. Like, that's not something I chose or anything like that.
But you were built for it,
I can't help it. You know what I mean? But I was a part of that tour, not because of him. I got on there because of my dad's name. You know what I mean? And I got to experience the same thing that he experienced. And then, of course, they got married. You know what I mean? That whole story there. That's a whole other story.
That's a whole different story, man.
But you did mention before we even started that y'all are dropping a EP with 5 tracks.
Yeah. Grupo Metal featuring Chris Perez. Grupo Metal was born in 1991. Again, at that time, I was Carlitos Miranda Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to find a name. And they came up with Grupo Metal. And I just said, okay, cool. Let's just roll with it. You know what I mean? And it was in San Antonio at Tejano. Tejano was huge in the 90s.
Oh, no.
It was a big, when the awards were going to happen, it was pre-parties. It was like, it's like tonight or what, the Golden Globes or the Emmys or whatever it is tonight.
Is it the Golden Globes?
Yeah, it's something like that. So they would have the pre-parties. And I just happened to go because I was a fan of that music.
Yeah.
And I got approached by AJ Quintanilla, and he came up to me and said, "You're Carlitos Miranda Jr., right? Carlitos Miranda is your dad." And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm just here to check it out." Like, you know? And he asked me if I was singing, and I told him I had a band, and he gave me his number. And I give him my home phone because they were in cell phones.
No way.
And
not the WhatsApp.
Next thing you know, man, he's at my house the next day.
Nice.
And sure enough, man, I got my guys. We performed, and the rest was history. And I was on tour with them, and that's when they gave me the name Grupo Metal.
Grupo Metal.
So as time went on, I was there for the Ven Conmigo album, the Entra Mi Mundo, and the live album.
Damn.
Which won the Grammy.
Yeah.
And I got to open up for that show. And, you know, the one thing that I want to emphasize is that I used to be ashamed to tell these stories because I didn't want nobody thinking that I was trying to gain something by telling the story, right?
Yeah.
But now I live my life like it's my story.
It is.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
I have no reasons for anybody to try to see what it is or whatever it is, but it's just a part of history.
Yeah. Definitely.
That I feel like I was a chosen one to be a part of that.
And you know, it's not bad because you lived through it, like you said. It would be bad if somebody else that didn't live through it was telling the stories and maybe saying incorrect facts because they weren't there, they were never there, you know?
Right.
So I think that's the only wrong problem with it. But also, you continue to live on the legacy of Selena, you know, because there's new generations that don't know about her, you know?
Correct.
There's the new kids that don't know about her. I think I'm probably the last generation that actually not even saw her, but like with the movies, with everything that was coming out was so recent that I was still able to kind of enjoy that. But I think the next generation is like, they have no idea who she was.
Well, when you guys told me you guys are from Dallas, right off the back, that's what I thought about.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, man, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me about Dallas and Deep
Ellum.
Ellum, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
Deep Ellum,
yeah.
You know Deep Ellum?
Yeah.
Bro, how old are you? See, that's what I'm saying.
No, well, my thing is that like, there's just a lot of history
Yeah.
when we think of Fort Worth, Guys and Dolls, in Dallas, Monopolies, DEL in the Deep Ellum area, you know, and Market Hall, especially. Like, there's a lot of memories.
How was the environment back in the day in Deep Ellum?
It was popping. You know what I mean? Like, these were small clubs, and Tejano lovers would go. Like, I'll never forget when we met Selena Gomez's mom, Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
She is the reason why she named her daughter Selena, was because of Selena.
Damn.
So when we met her in LA, she expressed how she went to all the shows, you know, in Dallas.
Yeah.
And because they're from Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
You know? And I told Chris, I'm like, she was there. Like, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because you don't meet people that come from that era.
And you know, I gotta tell you something. I don't think Hispanics have done such a good job of not being role models, because we're good parents, right? But I'm talking about keeping the culture together, keeping families together, keeping us together as units, and growing within that. There's right now families that don't even know who Selena is, you know?
Correct.
And I'm talking about, you know, in terms of people that can understand in our age, you know, pre-Kardashian, with, you know, but Kardashians have no talent, let's just say that. But that's the point, right? And it sucks because sometimes it's out of our control, where, you know, families get deported and they're torn apart. and the legacy, the recipes, all of that of your family gets immediately dissolved.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to do a better job at passing culture, passing recipes, passing stories down.
That's funny that you're saying that, because I love to cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's this old lady on YouTube.
Oh man!
And she always says, "Bienvenidos a mi rancho."
Hey,
you know what I mean? And it's like, it reminded me of my grandmother. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there was one thing, because mi familia es de Monclova, de Saltillo, and Nueva Rosita.
Oh no way, Monclova. Yeah. I had I think all my family's from Monclova, Coahuila.
Wow, Coahuila, yeah.
Monclova,
that's Coahuila. Where my grandma lived, and I live now without grandparents,
right?
And I live without parents.
Yeah.
I have more families. I have more friends that are family than I actually have, family. You know, and but when you think about that, you always want to go back. And I remember the smell of the cooking. And,
Damn.
And the one thing that I was intrigued about the lady on YouTube is that she's not using a Ninja blender. She's not using these stainless steel pans. She's using a comal, the fire of the wood. And she's got these, just the thing to put in whatever. The basic stuff, And I'm like, wow, and I'm sure it just tastes as good as anything else at a 5-star restaurant.
You bring up a great point. You said that you should never forget where you come from.
Never.
You should try to go back to Mexico and just remember.
Yeah.
You have, unfortunately, your family has passed away.
Yeah.
But you still have your familia, your best friend here.
Yeah.
And people that are friends that are now your familia.
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of me, even though I have no parents here in the United States, they're all in Mexico, deported.
Yeah.
I still got my familia.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you're now going to start touring in Mexico.
Yes.
Congrats, man.
No, thank you. I mean,
what cities have y'all announced? What cities y'all?
No, we haven't. What we're going to do first is we're going to do like a press tour.
Let's go.
To announce that we're going to be coming. We chose Mexico to start the first EP of Grupo Metal featuring Chris Perez. And back to that question of what Grupo Metal was. Well, it started with Selena. And it created, and we went into doing this rock en español.
Same.
And we had a great career doing covers of as I mentioned before, Enanitos Verdes, Caifanes, Toda Stereo. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, because the rock en español came to Texas.
Right.
And there was a lot of people that were from Laredo, Monterrey, Mexico City, that were coming over here to go to college.
Yeah.
And they kind of had their own cult out here. Yeah. They had their own clubs. Bomboleo, Antro, Tequila Republic, Planeta Mexico.
Hey.
And as a Tejano, when we went to Planeta Mexico, not as a performer, we went as just any regular person.
Right.
And I saw everybody in Versace and Hugo Boss and Luis Miguel at that time was the king.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, who are all these beautiful women? Why are they dressed up? Like if it's the Grammys, and the guys all dressed up sharp. And when I started listening to Luis Miguel and seeing how sharp the dude was, how he dressed, how he looked at things, and we were just kind of like, what in the world is this?
Yeah.
And when we tapped into that, that's when everything kind of took off, like for us as a group. And at that time, I didn't want to be a solo artist. I wasn't trying to be Carlitos Miranda Jr. and Metal.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be Grupo Metal.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started organically.
Right.
Not once that I said, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's going to be, And so we gained popularity, and I'll use an analogy of this of Los Angeles because you're hat. Steel Panther out in California, they're a known group. Steel Panther was known for 80s rock. And Steel Panther would get all the movie stars to come out and check them out. And, everybody knew who Steel Panther was. And so for Metal, Jerry Jones' kids, when the training camp was here in San Antonio, they'd show up to our shows in the Dallas Cowboy bus.
No way.
The guys from Carlos Santana, Baby Bash, Frankie J. Like, we had all these artists that would show up because we were performing on a Tuesday night.
Nice.
And let me tell you, it was sold out.
Yeah.
It was sold out. Like, we couldn't believe it. We could not believe. And the reason why
you have the flex of the I'm your favorite artist.
Yeah, it was just my band. I was more of a scout.
Yeah,
I knew who I wanted.
Yeah,
I knew, and my drummer is like a Mexican Tommy Lee. You know, he is such. I've known him since he was 11. His dad performed with my dad.
Whoa.
His name is Joey Jams Jimenez, and he's my drummer today. You know, there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
Way to keep it going.
What kept it going?
No, way to keep it going.
Oh, well, no, I mean, it you know, con el favor de Dios. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm very blessed for, is that I never, in my wildest dreams, thought that I could like continue to do this. Like, I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I saw a lot of people do their things during my time. Mm-hmm. And I always thought, when will it be my time?
Right.
And I was even at the point where I'm like, hey, I did what I did, and that's it. Because after Selena and after her passing, I went on tour with La Mafia.
Yeah.
And with La Mafia, I went as Carlito. And when that was going on, I just saw the industry kind of go down.
Right.
You know, and that's when I made the transfer to Rock en Español.
Oh, wow.
And it was still peaking. You know, and so make a long story short, metal kept on organically. Mm-hmm. It was something that never went away. And I thought someone's going to pick this up and use it.
Right.
But no one ever did. And the one thing is that I had the bass player from La Mafia, who was Rudy Martinez. Mm-hmm. I had Joey Jams Jimenez, who was a drummer for a lot of great bands that were out there. And then I had Chris Perez.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of like the singers from the legendary singer Carlitos Miranda.
Mm-hmm. You were assembling the Avengers.
Yeah, like we were like the Avengers. It was kind of like that. Yeah. But the crazy thing about it is that we were friends before we were musicians. Yeah. You know,
and I feel like that's why it's been working for so long, because of that friendship with the
man. No. I mean, we were we were the Motley Crue of the Latinos. Yeah. Except our drummer was not a drinker or a drug user.
I was like, what you trying to say?
Well, I mean,
everyone else was.
We just lived a very motley life. You know, I mean, we idolized those posters on the wall.
Yeah.
And we thought that, well, this is what you got to do. But then it's like, wait a minute, this is a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we utilized everything and to tell the story in our show of who we are, what we grew up on. Because the part of a show that we do, we pay tribute to our icons. Mm-hmm. You know, Prince, David Bowie, Selena. You know, we pay homage to those that are the falling that we idolized. And as you mentioned earlier, no one really got to see Selena, you know, in that time. So when we perform, we take you back to what we remember.
Yeah.
So Joey, our drummer, Rudy, and Chris, and myself,
they were all there.
We're all there with her.
Yeah.
You know, so not one of us did not know her.
Right.
You know, so we knew how it went, how it goes, whatever it was.
Right.
You know?
That empty hole is never really empty whenever you guys are playing.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm a true believer in organic. You know what I mean? And when we got together and we were performing after COVID, because during COVID is when I came up with the idea of like, let's go to the studio. And I was very curious to know, because I knew cover, we would kick ass, you know, but I didn't know what we were going to sound, or original.
Yeah. So
these are songs that I wrote, you know, these are, and again, how do you go to a Chris Perez and say, well, I need you to play this or whatever it was, right? But when I demonstrated it, I knew that he was going to take it and do what he does.
Yeah.
You know, he's that magical guitarist,
right.
You know, I'm going to use this guitar and I'm going to give it this tone or whatever. Well, when I was listening back after the guys did everything in the session, like and I'm not trying to say it because it's our music or whatever. I was just like, this is the final product. Like, this is what, you know, it's like if you find a builder to build your dream home.
Yeah.
Damn.
You find those guys that are going to do exactly what you were looking for.
What you mentioned.
Yeah. And trust me, when I saw the dirt of Motley Crue and they were coming up with the name Motley Crue and Mick Mars gets that paper and he says, I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah.
And he writes it down. That was me.
That was you at that moment
that was
when you
me.
heard that.
When I heard the music, I thought, I've been waiting for this for a long time. And all I could do was give thanks to God.
Yeah.
That's all I could do was go, God, you know what? I will never question anything again.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
and I think that's what it is that the world lives impatiently. You know, faith is to believe when common sense tells you not to.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people mess up is in always focusing on the end goal. They never get to enjoy the journey, you know? And they
Trust
never
me,
get,
man, every breakdown of the trucks and I mean, we've had the greatest parties in the most
Those are the best
shittiest
memories,
places ever you could think of. Like, I mean, it was great. You know what I mean? I can't complain about anything. You know, I mean, I would not change anything of the world of what has happened in my life. I mean, I've gone through some shit, you know.
Yeah.
And here
through my
you're
time.
staying content with where you are.
It's what
Not even more
creates you.
content. You're living and loving life.
It's what creates you. It's what shapes you to be the person that you are. You know, we all got to learn about death.
Right.
We all got to learn that we are going to get older.
Right.
We all have to learn how to be patient. You know, we all have to learn how to have a drive, be happy. Don't be happy for certain material things.
Right.
Be happy because when I see other people homeless, struggling, like today I saw on the news, a 5-year-old kid got swept away in the California weather. You know, 5 years old. And I'm just like, man, you know, like, wow. You know, I know that
Rest
things
in
are
peace.
written the way that they are and things like that. So it's like, appreciate the day that you have.
Yeah.
You got 24 hours of that day.
Yeah,
and that's
man.
why I tell everybody, whether I know you or I don't, I'll tell you, hey, man, I love you and God bless you.
Facts,
You know,
man.
that's the way I see it. I don't.
Because you don't know what that other individual is going
Nah.
through.
No.
And if you could just give them, you know, a smile,
Yeah.
it could change the world for them. And that's something that I learned, you know, after what we went through as friends.
Yeah.
The podcast was never something that we ever thought about,
Yeah.
but it kind of like evolved to that because
It was meant to be, man.
we became the individuals who we are today because we overcame the battles. And now what we're doing is we're helping people get the help that they need, you know,
Good.
through your, you know, experiences.
Yeah, you never know who you could inspire right
You
now.
know,
I mean,
It's-
I just came with Chris because he was doing the
I know, right?
interview.
He's
Yeah,
like-
and I'm
we're
like,
like, let's
AJ
run it.
Hernz was kind of like, hey,
I
you
know,
want to
guys,
get
for
in?
y'all
I'm like,
that don't know, we didn't even plan this. This was never
Never
planned.
planned.
We just were like,
yeah,
you know,
and
we
I'm
need.
like, okay. I'm like,
Let's
I
run
didn't,
it.
expect anything. We brought some beer. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
I'm gonna just kick
We
back.
found a
and
Jack Daniels. He found a Jack
Yeah,
Daniels
Honestly,
in
in
the
the
back
back
of
of
the truck.
my car. Didn't
Yeah.
even know.
Well, wow. Well, I mean, I believe in and everything happens for a reason.
for sure.
You
I
know,
agree.
and I'm like, just not knowing you guys. You know, I use the analogy of the seesaw. You know, when you get on the seesaw, the one pushes and
Yeah.
Yeah, the
you
one,
know,
yeah.
it creates the momentum. And, you know, Chris is my other half of that seesaw,
Right.
you know? And again, you know, I know a lot of people look at it as, well, it's Chris Perez. It's like, hey, man, we're a garage band.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're a garage band.
They don't understand it because they don't know what the struggle was back in the day.
Yeah,
you know?
no one
And
understands.
no one will ever understand it because only y'all lived it, you know?
Yeah, and you know, and I've been working a lot with Cruz Martinez, who is the keyboardist of Los Cumbia Kings.
Los Cumbia
Hey.
Kings.
Yeah, out of Mexico. And he's been a big help to what he's a businessman.
Right.
And he and I go back to when we were teenagers and things like that. And again, organically, when it's Los Cumbia Kings and Grupo Metal featuring Chris Perez, it's a show.
It's
Yeah.
unstoppable.
It's a show, man. I mean, we get on the stage together at the end of the night. You know, it's two different styles of music. You know, he's performing the hits of Los Cumbia Kings.
Right.
We're performing the hits of the covers that we do. And now we're doing the original material, which
Yeah.
va a estar cabrón. I can't
Yeah.
wait for the
For
rest of the
sure.
world. And I chose Mexico to be the first to
Yeah,
do
for
it.
sure.
You know,
They
to go out
deserve it.
there and promote.
You know,
And go out
Why
there.
Mexico, though? Why not tour in the U.S.?
And because when I got there, I just thought of my dad a lot. You know, when I saw the Mexican flag, you know, because I'm half de Mexico, you know, mi
Same.
sangre es parte de Mexico. Era la tierra de mi padre. And I was just kind of like, something just told me, do it here.
Yeah.
Do it here in
but
Mexico.
check it out, dude. Mira, estás hablando con jóvenes.
Yeah.
que nunca ha escuchado la historia de tu padre, de lo que tú viviste cuando eras joven. You're gonna do that in Mexico.
Con el favor de Dios, you know, see, you know what I mean? And it just felt right, you know? And when I took the music over there, everybody was like, yo, man, you guys, you got something here.
Yeah, man.
You know, and let me tell you, that took years to create that, which I would have never known in my wildest dreams.
Damn.
You know? And I have an amazing band, you know? I got guys that I don't have to worry about nothing. You know, they're very talented. We all understand one another. There's no boss in this band,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
We all know each other's moves, you know? And it's kind of like a dance partner. When you find that partner, that's it.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if this happens to you with Chris, but like starting to know him more and more, you know, because like, again, we met kind of the same age you were.
Yeah.
You were like what, 19 or 20, and I was like 21, 22. Like I kind of know when he's already lying about something or like
that's me,
like, bro,
dude.
shut up. I know you're still at home, dog. Like hurry up and get your ass over here.
All right. You know what Chris tells me when I tell him I'm 5 minutes away?
He already knows. But what are you 5 minutes away? 30 minutes.
I tell him I'm down the street.
Yeah.
He knows. He's like, I know what down the street means, man.
You're still at home taking a shower. Look at that.
I mean, we talk every morning, like every single morning. We're both having coffee and we're telling each other the day, what we got going on.
Yeah.
We're always checking in with one another. And, you know, it's a blessing, man. A lot of people say we have a bromance, you know.
Right. And there's something wrong with that. That's
No.
the thing.
Hey, man, I if that's what that is, then I honor it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's my brother, you know, and things of that nature. And I just can't help the headline part of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, at the end of the day, you said it already.
Yeah.
They wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite thing to say to people. And I say that not to like, you know, demean someone or to like, you know what? I went through something that you would never go through.
Yeah.
It's more like, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the peace in me that, you know what? But let me do something that you do understand. Let me guide you. Let me help you. Let me show you what real happiness is, what real love is.
For sure, man. One of my idols is Draco Rosa. I don't know if y'all familiar with him.
No.
Robbie Rosa was one of the singers of Grupo Menudo.
No way, Menudo.
Yeah,
Menudo.
No.
See, I know the groups. When you say groups, yes, but when you say the
okay, so he's now known as Draco Rosa.
Okay.
And man, let me tell you something. Like Draco is he influenced me to become a songwriter. He influenced me to create music, to produce, to be a melody maker, things of that. And Chris actually got me to meet him.
No way.
Yeah. He actually got me to meet him and things of that nature. And let me tell you, like, I just recently saw an interview of him, and he was a very mysterious guy, you know. But this interview, I now know everything of him.
Damn.
Therefore, that's why, like, now I speak on everything. I'm not gonna leave anything out. Because I was telling Chris this morning, I said, dude, I saw Draco, man, and he talked about Menudo, Ricky Martin,
no way,
what Maggie's Dream, like deals that he had on the table, because his success became with Ricky Martin.
Yeah.
Copa de la Vida, Living La Vida Loca, She Bangs, La Bomba, Vuelve, all these, you know, all these hits, you know, all these hits. And he explained everything. So that's kind of like, well, again, I live my life like that. When I see things of that, because the interviewer also said, man, I'm sorry that we had, he goes, no, man, don't be sorry. That's part of life. And I want to help those people that might be going through those, trying to make a decision, you know, things of that. I mean, he experienced cancer twice. He went through a transplant. He was a drug addict. He was an alcoholic. Like, he went through Menudo. He became a solo artist. I mean, just everything, all in one. And so, but he's an amazing producer, you know. And when I saw all of that, and I had kind of told myself, because I remember hearing Chris in an interview that we did together, he basically said those are the facts of life. Like he accepted that his life is always going to be recognized by who he was married to.
Right.
You know?
So let me ask you this before we go any further, because we're bringing up you doing covers.
Yeah.
And you meeting your idols.
Yeah.
Have you ever met, who's the lead singer of Los Enanitos Verde?
I'm not sure the name of him.
The one who passed away, correct?
Yes.
No, I never got to meet him, but my drummer did.
Okay.
You know, because he did something with AB, with Los Cumbia All-Stars. Mauricio, I think his name was Mauricio. No, I never did. But let me tell you, La Muralla Verde and La Guitarra Blanca and Borracho y Loco were one of... Borracho y Loco is something we still perform.
Yeah, no, and youngins, even youngins know the words to it because of their parents.
I never seen somebody chant, Borracho y Loco, y yo estoy aquí, borracho y loco.
For real, man.
I was just like, wow, like it was just in awe.
It transcends generations, to be honest. That music.
That's what's beautiful about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what's happening with Selena. Like, all these young kids that see the Netflix show and the movie. And those are great things, but it's nothing like being there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, which is from Dallas, Texas, or whatever that town was that he was from. There will never be anything like that. And so Stevie Ray Vaughan is my number one, and Chris's is Eddie Van Halen. And we'll argue, back and forth about who's the best and things of that nature.
And I bring this up because this is fairly recent,
Right.
I remember going to Latino Mix in Dallas, and Bad Bunny, he got a chance to bring him out.
Really?
It was, Marciano. He came out and he sang.
Oh yeah, that he used the sample, right?
Yeah, the sample.
One of the songs.
And he brought him out, and the whole world went crazy. It was beautiful.
No, dude, you cannot deny what you grew up on.
And you brought up something too, that you can't deny the truth. You can't deny that you're gonna get older. Man, his voice, it was not the same. You know, we all saw that.
Yeah.
And it was bittersweet,
Yeah.
Definitely going home and seeing someone that you used to listen to every single day whenever you're growing up.
Yeah. Well, we all have a beginning and we all have an end.
Yeah.
It's like a boxer. You're never going to be the champion forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be that up and coming kid that's going to knock you off your socks. It's like we were speaking about Firme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Firme has broken records that artists have been around for years.
Right.
That, with all due respect to Los Bookies and things like that, but Firme, here's Firme that's not been around as many years as Los Bookies have.
Yeah.
And I got that from a good point of my mom when Tiger Woods became Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
He was breaking records left and right.
I agree.
That whistle is Chris. Just by the way.
Do you recognize that?
Oh, yeah. Watch.
Is it really Chris? You want to come on in, Chris?
I told you.
Man.
I told you.
You can.
You might as well just come in here because.
Is that what you're drinking?
He's camera shy.
Camera shy.
Nah, but we're going to touch that topic right now about how you guys have been killing it, but I feel like it's more about paying tribute to the great success that it could have been more, and you're keeping that legacy going, and it's going to keep breathing, and it's going to keep growing, and the more that you play it, and the new hits are going to start coming out.
It's all organic, man. It's all organic. I never thought that was going to work.
Yeah.
And say that playing covers like Maná.
Yeah.
Like I would always tell myself, if I hear Oye Mi Amor one more time. Yeah. But it was such a, at the end of the hour, like at 1:30 in the morning at the nightclubs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They
still play it.
Yeah,
they still play
and go into clavado in un bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we would play Oye Mi Amor, and then Borracho y Loco, and then end it with clavado.
Yeah.
Now we're ending it with Enter Sandman from Metallica.
Hey.
And it's crazy to see these crowds, that, go crazy for that kind of music. It's insane. I would have never thought that. So it was never predicted, And we play tribute to Vicente Fernandez, El Rey, Volver, So, and it's always at that end of the hour. And I remember doing it like that because it would make people go buy tequila shots.
Hey, bring in more money back home.
Yeah, you know,
in the back end. That's hilarious.
So, I mean, it was very organic, man, and that's a beautiful thing. Donde el viento nos lleve, right?
For real, man.
That's the way it's got to be in life.
Oh man. Well, I say we gotta close it up.
Yeah.
Chris being here, you know, I know he's behind the camera, but like we've been having such a great conversation with your best friend.
I feel like we know you already, man.
Hey, they're kind of like me and you, bro.
Don't believe a word he said.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about how old y'all were when y'all met. We kind of met at the same age, around the same time. So we're talking about like how now I'm starting to know. Like, if he's telling me he's 5 minutes away, I already know how far he is.
So
like,
what am I saying? I'm right up the street.
I'm like, he's still in the shower. Shut up, bro. Like, hurry up.
An hour later, it's like, I thought you were right up the street. I am.
No fucking way, bro.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
And what did hold on, before we go any further, what did I tell you whenever I first met you? Your energy is different. It's special and it's positive. And go back and watch the podcast and you'll see what I mean.
I will. I got to get, for sure.
No, we're just giving you flowers the whole time, man. That's all we're
nice.
doing.
Well, AJ was supposed to do it. You know?
What
Yeah,
happened?
AJ left.
Put his daughters
Yeah, he had to put his daughters to sleep.
You brought up a great point whenever we were talking about bromance. Dude, so many girls that, you know, go out and party with us, they say it. And they're like, why do you have such a bromance? I'm like, what's wrong with it? You know, we have gone through so much together, thin and thick. And we're not talking about like, oh yeah, we're all buddies. He talks so much shit about me all the time, bro. Straight up. Like,
but that's the best love affection you could give anybody.
Yeah.
Well, at least for me, it's like if I'm making fun of you, like in a nice way, or like that's because I'm showing you that I'm comfortable with you enough to make fun of you.
And it is hard sometimes to, you know, let go of that shield that you have to put up, because you know what, if you don't have that shield up, they're gonna attack you. And that's what the whole point of this whole podcast, I believe, was that us as men, we have to continue to support each other, and we're gonna have to continue to protect each other, because, like you said, Chris is the other end of the saw.
Yeah. We've been through, you know, a lot of stuff, and it's like anything else, man. I mean, it's 99%. Fucking positive and awesome, but every now and again, you know, just like with anything else, you hit your snag and you gotta talk stuff out and figure it out and what's really going on and what are, you know, just be open and vulnerable with each other, and that's the kind of type of relationship that we have. You know, vulnerability is a big part. It's not about being a badass all the time. It's about being real.
That's so true. Being authentic to yourself. And I was talking to another, we were interviewing someone else, and they brought up a good point that you shouldn't focus on your flaws. Know that they're your flaws, and then admire the things that you're good at, and keep it going. Keep it going from there, because you're going to keep accomplishing amazing things in your life. And you said it yourself too, you know, your best friend was like, you know what, you only got 24 hours. You can't change the fact that we're getting older. We can't change the fact of the things that has happened. But we can do something today.
Exactly. No, it's all about being organic and being true. Again, I've learned a lot from him. You know, kind of like the way you guys are. You know, I'm lucky that this guy took me under his wing and helped me along the way of understanding life in general.
And to your future success with the hits that you're gonna play in Mexico, you know, the
sure,
EP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
really
gonna kill
funny
it.
because I'm kind of psychic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, before shit happens, I'm like, dude, you know what? I bet you, you know, this is what's going on. And he's like, you think?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's like, how did you know? I'm like, I don't know, man.
Right, he's very psychic.
You just feel it, yeah.
I'll say before we end things, y'all gave me the vibe of people that have, you know, loved life so much, and then y'all are so wise about things. You know,
Well, he's wiser.
oh snap! Well,
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, man.
but you guys have made it so far together, and you guys are gonna keep pushing that positivity with whoever you guys meet in Mexico and here in the States. So
Yeah, man,
I
thank
applaud you
Appreciate
too,
it.
and
Appreciate
good
it.
luck to all y'all success.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
bros.
it.
Peace. We out.
Peace.
Was at my lowest point in life, so shit can't ever keep me down. Reppin' for my city, Dallas, this gon' be that Lucas show. Now I'm blowing up like the whole squad of let bazookas go.